happy that he held a lost position, but by the end, Vincent had kind of really fumbled the ball, you know?
Yeah, big time. That was a position that Vincent was almost so shocked that he was allowed to win that pawn for free that he blundered immediately afterwards. Had he taken, just a
Yeah.
second to look at the position, he wins that every single time. But he almost was in like a state of shock.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to highlight how Wesley was threatening to win with this rook a7 check, king h5, king g6, but before we could even make that point, Wesley had blundered the a pawn, and anyway, okay, well, the match is even. That's what matters, and we have a lot of chess left, so get ready. Get ready for a barn burner potentially today. I'm like a kid. I'm like so excited. I'm so excited to be on the edge of my seat and bullet. That's what I want.
Well, you picked the best match to tune into, Danny, because this was always slated, I think, to be a really, really close one, and it's definitely delivering on that. This position from Vincent, I find it a little bit strange. I don't really know what system he's playing here. There's no London, but it's also not really like a Coley system. I don't think that I like it for white. Black is going to achieve e5, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sold on this for white.
Yeah, the London being the same structure, but the bishop, of course, outside the pawn chain. And the Coley played in a move order where often white will be able to be more aggressive with like bishop on d3, and the knights are getting more control over the squares. So I'm with you, Amon. I don't even know exactly what happened in the move order there, but Wesley has control over the dark squares. This is exactly the kind of way you would want to attack this structure if you're black. So yeah, already the computer thinking that that black is preferred.
Yeah, I mean, pawn to e4, before or after you capture on d4, bottom line is this is just good for black. There's no other way to say it. It's not that black will definitely win this position. You can always outplay or make things happen, and there's good parts to bad positions, but objectively, this is not a spot you want to be in at all. Black usually plays like h5, knight from d7 to f8 in order to make room for perhaps knight e6, g5, knight h7, g5, possible sacrifices on h3. This is not a good spot to be in. Usually when you play e4 and the white knight has to move from f3, you want to be able to drop back to d2. Knight e1 is just bad.
Yeah, white's pieces are sort of wrestling each other for the few squares that are available. And this move is just played to try to bring some clarity. You want to ask black, will you take? Are you going to push? Of course, white would like that because then you have something to maybe target with the knight retreating in b3. Okay, so Vincent gets what he wants, and he's going to try to undermine the queen side. But Wesley's still better here. And if you ever play b3, actually c3 is just weak in a lot of those positions. So yeah, Wesley is in control right now.
I guess I wanted to say I'm a little bit shocked by rook takes e6, but like bishop takes e6 is very, very natural. Maybe he's reserving the bishop for bishop d7 to b5 as a something like he doesn't have to play bishop b5, but he certainly has it, and that feels like it clamps everything. I almost want to bring some pieces around, maybe knight e8, d6. Like if white doesn't play b3, the position is just terrible. So I'm expecting him to try to lock things down on the queen side here, bishop b5, try to take back on c4 with a piece if he can, but it's probably a move he should have started with.
Yeah, I agree. Bishop b5 first also would have prevented b3 for the record, because then you take with tempo on the queen and win the bishop on e2, right? So I think you're right that Wesley might have misplayed that a little bit there. And as you said, you would love to take everything with a piece, because in the end, if the file is still open, the c pawn is weak, but you don't have that here. You have to take with the pawn, and so Vincent's c3 pawn lives to fight another day. I guess what I'm saying is this is slowly working itself out for Vincent. Wesley is letting go of the rope a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Queen a5. If bishop takes f8, there's going to be some trades here. Yes, you did lose a pawn here, but I think the position could have been just genuinely terrible for white, and Vincent has made some big achievements.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the pressure slipped from Wesley, still a teeny bit better. According to the computer, you got to find bishop c5, which makes sense. If you move the queen, there's a lot of problems here, including the c3 pawn. So bishop to c5 seems to be the only move, but the main move you have to make is a fast one right now because you're under 20 seconds if you're Vincent. And this is the thing you're worried about if you're Vincent Keymer fans. Faster time controls. How's he going to hold up?
Yeah, concerned about the time scrambles and how often they're happening, but also concerned that in Bullet, it's just going to be an immediate issue.
Yeah. All right, well, Wesley's still in control. After the transition, he wins not just the D pawn, but the C pawn as well. He's up 2 pawns, and they are both passed. So in the end, time pressure got the best of Vincent despite his better defensive technique in the middle game, and he's still losing.
Yeah, I do think the knight on d4 is very good, and he's about to play rook f b1. Like, he'll have a few threats here that are tough for Wesley to deal with, but a good player in these positions kind of knows what moves to expect and directly plays moves against them. So let's see what Wesley does here. Oh, knight takes and queen f6. Wesley and can see here that is not what you wanted to allow. Easy moves for white, and yeah, b5 pawn just dropped.
Yeah, it's almost like Wesley allowed the simplification, thinking this would be something he could push while Vincent's under time pressure, which, by the way, may still pay off. Vincent has 1.5 seconds, so I totally agreed. Obviously not the best technique there from Wesley, but Vincent has to defend this literally living on the increment right now.
Yeah, I would consider pre-moving.
And he doesn't do it. There
No,
you go.
He just
and that's